What's the toughest choice you've ever had to make at work? Today, we're going to dive into a story that really gets to the heart of that question. It's a story about a career on the line and a reputation that turned out to be, well, priceless. So just imagine this for a second. You are absolutely crushing it at your job. Everything's going right, and then your boss asks you to do something that you know deep down is just wrong. They ask you to lie. It's a total nightmare scenario, right? But for the person at the center of our story, it was all too real. This brings us to a real career-defining choice. It's that moment when a dream job can suddenly turn into an absolute nightmare of a decision. So let's meet Lisa. She's working at a big, well-known advertising agency. This is her dream job. And she's not just warming a chair either. She's working hard, she's doing great work, and she is flying up that corporate ladder. Everything looks perfect. But then, all that forward momentum comes to a screeching halt. An unethical request lands in her inbox, and it's coming straight from her boss. And look, this wasn't some little hint or a gray area. The request was blunt. Lie to a client about the results of a campaign. We're not talking about a tiny white lie here. This was a massive breach of trust. So Lisa's stuck at this huge crossroads. On one path, she sacrifices her integrity. She lies to the client, makes her boss happy, and gets to keep her dream job. But on the other path, she sacrifices her job. She tells the truth, defies her boss, and risks getting fired. And this wasn't just some vague threat. Her boss laid it out crystal clear. The message was, if you didn't do as he said, you would be out of a job. The threat was real, and it was right in her face. So she had to make a call, and her decision came with an immediate price tag. This brings us to the cost of honesty and the tough fallout that came right after. And despite that direct threat, despite all the pressure, Lisa made her choice. She stood her ground. She just said no. She refused to lie. Now, you'd think doing the right thing would bring some relief, maybe a little applause. Nope. Instead, the whole vibe at work changed, like overnight. Her boss got super distant. The communication just stopped. She started to feel totally isolated from her own team. The office just felt tense all the time. This was the price she was paying every single day for sticking to her guns. But here's the thing. Even with a cold shoulder and feeling like she was on an island, Lisa didn't back down. She stayed true to who she was and just kept her head down doing great work. And that quiet, steady commitment, well, that's where the story takes a turn. This is where her reputation transforms into her greatest asset. And we get to see how integrity really can pay off in the long run. So, a few months go by and the truth comes out. The boss's lie gets exposed. As you can imagine, the company's reputation takes a massive hit. But in the middle of all that chaos, something else happened. People started to notice Lisa's integrity, that she was the one who refused to go along with it. And that recognition came in a pretty unexpected way. A phone call. Out of the blue, it's a headhunter from a rival company. Turns out, word of her work ethic and her character had gotten around. And let me tell you, this wasn't just any old job offer. This was a major step up. We're talking a higher position, better pay, and, this is the best part, a company that specifically said they valued her integrity. They weren't just hiring her for her skills, they were hiring her for her character. So what can we all learn from Lisa's incredible journey? Well, it really all boils down to the power of your reputation in your career. Let's be clear about what we mean by professional reputation. It's basically the sum of everything you do, your values, your actions, your integrity, and how other people in your field see you. You can almost think of it as the real currency of your career. So if we pull it all together, Lisa's story leaves us with some really powerful takeaways. First, a good reputation is worth way more than a single paycheck. Second, compromising your values just to make someone else happy, it's always a losing game. Integrity isn't just a nice idea. It's a long-term investment in your future. And at the end of the day, it's your actions during the tough times that earn you real, lasting respect. Okay, so that's Lisa's story. It's pretty amazing. But the real question now is, what does this all mean for you, for your career, right here, right now? It really all comes down to this one question. What is the one value that you just won't compromise on, no matter what, no matter the pressure? Just think about that for a second. Because knowing the answer to that question, well, that's the foundation for building a reputation and a career that's truly worth keeping.